Hello everyone. So my name is Varis Naviwala and I am continuing the chemistry classes for 11 and 12. So today I am continuing with 12th standard, P block element 2 I am doing it, group number 17, and in group number 17 today we are going to start the chemical reactivities of group number 17. Last class we have seen the electron gain enthalpy and everything we have seen, number of series also we have seen, many things we have seen. So today I am going to start the chemical reactivity of group number 17. These are also important, clear, but it is easy, so do not worry about it, clear. So first point you can write down the chemical reactivity, write down chemical reactivity of group number 17. Of group number 17. See, group number 17 elements are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Clear? So this astatine we are not considering because astatine radioactive element I told you. So we are forgetting that. You remember this fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, but you remember astatine is also a group number 17 elements. Okay. So you write down the first point. Today you along with me write down. Halogens are highly reactive. Write down. Halogens are highly reactive. Right? So first point is coming what? Okay, halogens are highly reactive. Why they are highly reactive? Due to their more negative value of electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy. So this point is very important. They can ask you in the assessor and reason that halogen reactivity, high reactivity of halogen, highly reactive, highly reactive. Yeah. So halogen are highly reactive. What can be the reason? The high reactivity of halogen, the best reason, the main reason, the perfect reason is they have the more negative value of electron gain enthalpy, due to which large amount of energy is released, hence it is having the halogens are highly reactive. Clear this part? Okay. Next, see, all halogen are having tendency means in Gujarati takat. So tendency to gain electron. Tendency to gain what? Electron means they are capable of doing what? Reduction, and one who does the reduction, they are oxidizing agent. So from this I can make one new point that halogens are strong oxidizing agent. This I have done in my previous video, but just for a flashback I am doing it. And in that fluorine is the most electronegative element of whole periodic table. So fluorine has the most capacity of attracting the electron of its element of its all, means fluorine is having the most capable or most strong to attract the electron in its own period. So fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent, then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. So this is the series of oxidizing agent. Clear? So fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent, then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. Clear this part? So here only first property we will see, we can add on the first property, oxidation of halide ion by other halogen. Now see here student, I have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Please see here, it's very important, it's very important. Please see here, because here I will do the basic of interhalogen compound, just a basic, a very small basic of interhalogen compound. See, fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent, then what? Then chlorine, then bromine, and then iodine. Means fluorine can react with, fluorine can replace chlorine, can replace bromine, and can replace iodine. Yes or no? Why? Fluorine can replace chlorine because fluorine is the most strong oxidizing agent in its own period and also in the whole periodic table, but we are talking about the group itself. So fluorine is the most strong oxidizing agent in its own group. Means fluorine is strong oxidizing agent, then chlorine, then bromine, then iodine. So fluorine can replace chlorine as well as bromine as well as iodine. Similarly, if I compare, an oxidizing agent decreases down the group. We have seen here, oxidizing agent decreases down the group. So as oxidizing agent or oxidizing power, I will say, oxidizing power decreases down the group. Yes or no? Yes. So as fluorine is strong oxidizing agent than chlorine, bromine and iodine, so that only fluorine can replace chlorine, bromine and iodine. Similarly, chlorine is more strong oxidizing agent than bromine and iodine, not than fluorine. See here, series. So chlorine is less than fluorine. So that means what? That means chlorine cannot replace fluorine because it is a less oxidizing agent than fluorine, whereas chlorine can replace bromine and iodine. Why? Because it is more powerful oxidizing agent than bromine and iodine. Similarly, bromine can replace what? Iodine, and iodine cannot replace anyone. That's why, see, iodine cannot replace bromine. Why? Because iodine is weak oxidizing agent than bromine, as well as weak as compared to chlorine, as well as weak as compared to fluorine. Means iodine cannot replace any halogen. That's why iodine is not capable of doing interhalogen compound. Iodine cannot form interhalogen compound. Once more I will explain when I will go to the topic. Clear this part? So fluorine is the most strong oxidizing agent in its own group. So due to the highest or strongest oxidizing agent, fluorine can replace chlorine, bromine, iodine. Similarly, chlorine is most strong oxidizing agent than bromine and iodine. So chlorine can replace bromine and iodine, but it cannot replace fluorine. Similarly, bromine can replace iodine, and iodine cannot replace anyone because of the weakest oxidizing agent. See here, iodine is the weakest oxidizing agent. That's why iodine cannot replace any of the halogen. That's why iodine does not have a tendency to form the interhalogen compounds. We will see example. See, first example I will see, if I take fluorine and if I take X minus, so what will happen, you know, I will take HX, I will explain, just you see, please don't write down, see, or I will take, instead of HCl I will take, let it be HCl, see, I will replace HCl, means H plus and Cl minus. What I will do, I will form here, F will form what here, F minus. So see, can F minus replace Cl minus, yes or no? Can F minus replace Cl minus? Yes, F minus can kick Cl minus. Why? Because fluorine is more powerful oxidizing agent than chlorine. So fluorine can replace Cl minus. So when fluorine can replace Cl minus, means fluorine will react with H plus. So here HF will be formed, and here Cl will be forming as Cl minus, or we can say Cl2. Clear this part? Can fluorine react with H plus? Yes. Yes or no? Can fluorine will react with H plus? Why? Yes, fluorine can react with H plus because fluorine can kick Cl minus. Why fluorine can kick Cl minus? Because fluorine is more oxidizing agent, more powerful oxidizing agent than chlorine. Clear this part? Take a screenshot. This is very important. Take a screenshot. Okay. Now see here. See, once more reverse we will do. Cl2 plus HF. Suppose I will form here Cl minus, I will form here H plus F minus. So can Cl minus react with H plus? Can here HCl can be formed and F2 can be generated? No. For the Cl minus to react with H plus, Cl minus has to kick F minus. Can Cl kick F minus? No, because Cl is less powerful oxidizing agent than fluorine. So Cl minus cannot kick F minus. When F minus cannot be kicked, so here reaction will not occur. Please see this, it's very important. So I can say that fluorine can react with hydrochloric acid to generate HF, while chlorine cannot react with HF. The reason is chlorine is less powerful oxidizing agent than fluorine, hence chlorine cannot react with HF, whereas fluorine can react with HCl because fluorine is more powerful oxidizing agent than chlorine. That's why. So this reaction occurs, this does not occur. So this is very important reaction. It has been asked in the exam that why fluorine can react with HCl, HBr and HI, whereas HCl cannot react with HF. So HF can react with Cl2, Br2, I2 because HF, the fluorine is the most powerful oxidizing agent than chlorine, bromine and iodine, hence reaction occur. Whereas chlorine is less powerful oxidizing agent than the fluorine, so it does not react with fluorine, that is with HF, whereas it react with HBr and HI. Whereas iodine will not react with HF, HCl, HBr. Iodine cannot react with HBr, HCl, HF because of the least oxidizing agent. Okay, it is the least powerful oxidizing agent. Instead, it will react with some other thing. What? I will show you. So we will write down certain reaction here. Please write down. See, first reaction we write down that fluorine can replace Cl from HCl, Br from HBr and I from HI. So I will write down here HX. I will form here what? HF plus X minus, and here X I can write down who? X I will write down here Cl, Br and I. Please remember this. Similarly, chlorine will react with HX. Yes or no? Similarly, so chlorine can react with whom? It can react with HBr and HI. So I will form here HCl plus X minus. And what can be the value of X here? So X value will be Br and I. Similarly, I can add down here Br2 plus HI only. So I will form here HBr plus Br minus. Write down. This is a very important property of the halogen. Very, very important property. Clear? Clear? Clear this part? Clear? It's very important. Okay. So next we will go to the reaction with water. Reaction with water also very important. Clear? Clear? Okay. So next property will go reaction. Here one more point you write down. There is one exceptional case and it will come as an anomalous behavior of fluorine. So second point we will go reaction with water. Reaction with water. You have to remember here. See, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Clear? See, fluorine will react with water, chlorine will also react with water, bromine also will react with water. This iodine does not react directly with water, does not react directly. I will show the reaction, don't worry, does not react directly with water. Clear? Fluorine will react with water, chlorine. When fluorine reacted with water, it will generate only hydrofluoric acid, it will generate hydrofluoric acid and oxygen. See, this is an exception, that when fluorine will react with water, this reacts with water and will generate what? Will generate HF and O2, whereas water will also react with Cl2 and Br2. So when water is reacted with Cl2 and Br2, it will generate HCl, it will generate HBr, but it will not generate O2. Instead of O2, they will generate oxo acid. For Cl2 it will generate HOCl and for Br2 it will generate HOBr. Clear? Only the fluorine will react with water to generate oxygen, whereas other element they do not react with water to generate oxygen. Yes, they will react with oxygen, they will react with water, but by reacting with water they will not generate oxygen. Only fluorine will react with water to generate oxygen, whereas iodine will not react directly with oxygen with water. Instead, it will react with base and it will form hypoiodate ion. That I will show you. But I want to tell you the key point is this fluorine, that all the halogen except iodine will react with water. Iodine will not react directly with water. Instead, it will react indirectly. That reaction I will show you. But fluorine is only the element will react with water to generate oxygen and hydrofluoric acid, whereas the element chlorine and bromine will react with water and generate hydrochloric acid, hydrobromic acid and as well as one oxo acid. These two will not generate oxygen. So see the reaction, fluorine will react with water and forms HF plus O2. Chlorine will react with water to form HCl and HOCl, hypochlorous acid. This everything I will tell you when I will do the oxo acids of chlorine. Don't worry about the names. Br2 will react with water to form HBr and HOBr. Clear? And this iodine will not react with water, instead it will react with base. Instead it will react with base like NOH and generate H2O plus sodium iodide plus sodium hypoiodate NaIO3 or sorry NaOI, sodium iodide, sodium iodate NaOI, sodium iodate, sorry sodium hypoiodide. I will give the name. See sodium, this name is sodium, remember this name, sodium hypoiodide. Very, very important. See certain things you have to mug it up. Okay, what to do? So you can see the reaction that fluorine only will react with water to generate oxygen. So this is also one anomalous behavior of fluorine. Yes or no? The fluorine is only the element of group number 17 which will react with water to generate oxygen and hydrofluoric acid, whereas the element chlorine and bromine will react with water to generate HCl, HBr, but instead of oxygen they will generate what? Their oxoacid, that is HOCl and HOBr. And iodine will not react directly with water, it will generate indirectly with water, means it is reacting with OH minus of NOH. Okay, so iodine will react indirectly with water. Indirectly mean to say, see, in H2 also there is OH minus and in NOH is also OH minus. So this iodine is reacting with OH minus of NOH. So that's why I am telling that I2 will not react directly with water, instead it will react with OH minus, that is we say as a indirect. So iodine react with indirectly with water, that is indirectly with NOH, and forms what? H2O, Na and NaOH, and this reaction is very important for competition exam in the equation, in the MCQ form of ABCD. They will give your iodine, NaOH, then they will give you A and B, tell the name of the A and B compound. A will be sodium iodide, so Na is sodium iodide and NaOI sodium hypoiodide. So NaOI is what? Sodium hypoiodide. Write down. Okay. One more thing I will show you here. See, we can say for MCQ I am talking about. One more thing we can give the MCQ, that see here you see the reaction of chlorine here. Cl2 plus H2O will show HCl plus HOCl. Yes or no? Cl is 0. And HCl means what? Plus 1 and minus 1. Yes or no? HOCl. So see the answer of HOCl. We will see the oxidation number of HOCl, Cl in HOCl. So HOCl, if you split it, you will get what? You will get what? H plus and OCl minus. It's an acid, so it will form H plus. OCl minus means O plus Cl equal to minus 1. Minus 2 plus Cl equal to minus 1. So Cl will form what? Minus 1 plus 2. It will form what here? Plus 1. Now see here 0 to minus 1 means reduction, and you can see here Cl to 0 to plus 1 means what? Oxidation. So I can say another new point, that fluorine will react with water and it will not form the disproportionation reaction, whereas chlorine and bromine will react with water and shows the disproportionation reaction. See, this kind of a reaction is known as what? Disproportionation reaction, an element and single element which is undergoing oxidation as well as reduction. So you write down one point along with me please. Fluorine reacts with water and generate oxygen, whereas chlorine and bromine does not generate oxygen on reacting with water. Whereas chlorine and bromine will not generate oxygen on reacting with water. Instead they show disproportionation reaction. As follows. Okay. Also, iodine reacts indirectly with water, that is with NOH. Iodine reacts indirectly with water in the form of NOH. As follows, and generate sodium iodide and sodium hypoiodide. This reaction are to be remembered. This is very important. Okay, very important. Fluorine will react with water, will generate oxygen. Chlorine will react with water, will not generate oxygen. Instead, it will generate HCl and HOCl. So it will show disproportionation reaction. Same reaction will be shown by bromine, but iodine will not react directly with water. It will react indirectly. That is, it will react with NOH. And it will form what? Sodium iodide and sodium hypoiodide. This is very important and will generate one water. So these reactions are important to be remembered. Clear, students? Clear this part? So next we are going a very important property and topic, that is reactivity with hydrogen. and this you know. We have done in the chapter hydrogen. I will show you. So this topic is also very important. You can make a star point. Reaction with hydrogen. Reaction with hydrogen. First you see, then you understand, and then you write down. Okay. So see, fluorine will react with hydrogen, chlorine, bromine, iodine. All will react with hydrogen, and they generate. And they will generate what? Hydrohalic acids. They will generate what? Hydrohalides. First they will generate hydrohalides. See here. I will react with hydrogen 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 here. So this is the reaction. So they will generate HF. They will generate HCl. They will generate HBr, and they will form HI. So all the halogens will react with hydrogen to form hydrogen halides. First point, please see here, don't write down. All the halogens will react with hydrogen to form hydrogen halides. They are not acids. HF is not an acid, HCl is not an acid. When they become acid, when they are dissolved in water. You know the property, any substance release H plus ion in its aqueous medium, then only they are called as acids. So HCl will be gas, but when dissolved in the water, it will form hydrohalic acids. So all the halogen will react with water and form hydrogen halides. Now second point, please remember that on dissolving hydrogen halides in water, they form hydrohalic acid. They form what? Hydrohalic acid. Are you understanding? HF, when dissolved in water, they form hydrofluoric acid. HCl, when dissolved in water, so aqueous solution of HCl or aqueous solution of HF is known as hydrofluoric acid, hydrochloric acid. Aqueous solution of HBr, aqueous solution means what? Solution with water of HBr is known as a hydrobromic acid. HI, aqueous solution of HI, that is when HI is dissolved in water, they will form hydroiodic acid. Clear this point? Clear? Next, see the reactions conditions. If you see the reaction conditions, you will understand the reactivity series towards hydrogen. So see the condition. Fluorine can react hydrogen even in dark. No kind of energy, it's very dark, very dark. Suddenly it will react with hydrogen to form HF. Chlorine cannot react in dark. Chlorine will react in the presence of sunlight. Bromine cannot react with hydrogen in the presence of sunlight also. It requires certain temperature, that is certain heating is required. And iodine cannot react with hydrogen even in presence of sunlight or even with heating. It requires certain heating and also it requires certain catalyst. Only heating is also not enough. Certain catalyst is also required for the iodine to react with hydrogen. So you can see here what we understood by these conditions. By these conditions we understand that fluorine can react even in dark. Nothing is required. Just show the fluorine is showing the hydrogen, it will react. Chlorine will react with hydrogen in the presence of sunlight, means here some condition is required, means chlorine is weak in reacting with hydrogen and fluorine is very strong, even in dark is also reacting. This shows what? This shows, see here sunlight is also not enough, some more extra energy is also required, that is bromine is bit more less than that of a chlorine. So I can say the reactivity towards hydrogen decreases. See here, fluorine is most reactive towards hydrogen, chlorine, bromine and iodine. Clear? So this is the reactivity. Please remember, this is very important, okay. This is the reactivity of halogen towards hydrogen, Are you understanding or not? See, fluorine can react with hydrogen even in dark. Nothing energy is required. In dark, cold region also it will react. Means fluorine is most reactive towards hydrogen. As we move downside the group, this condition changes. This shows what? That as we move downside the group, reactivity towards hydrogen decreases. So, reactivity of halogen towards the hydrogen decreases. So, first point is this. Clear? Next, see here. See, now this H. So, H size is also small, fluorine size is also small. But here H size remains same. Chlorine size increases, H size remains same. Br size increases, similarly H size remains same, iodine size increases. So moving downside the group, HX bond strength decreases, yes or no? HX bond strength decreases. Moving downside the group from top to bottom, HX bond strength, this is H, this is H, this is H, this is H, but this is X halogen. So HX bond strength decreases. When HX bond strength decreases, so which is having the more strongest bond? So HF will be having the more strongest bond, then HCl, then HBr. So HF is having more strong bond. HF is having more strong bond. When HF is having more strong bond, means it is very difficult to remove hydrogen from fluorine. Means HF is having the most strong bond because both are small. So HF bond is very strong. When HF bond strength is very strong, it is very difficult to remove hydrogen from this fluorine. When it is very difficult to remove hydrogen from fluorine, means they are stable. And you can see here H and I, the bond is between small and large. This bond is weak. When bond is weak, so it is easy to remove the H from HI. When it is easy to remove H from HI, means they are less stable. So I can say stability decreases down the group. So HF is more stable, then HCl, then HBr, then HI. Just you see first and last. Don't worry about center. Why HF is? So this is a series of strength or stability, I can say. This is stability. Clear? So why HF is more stable? HF is more stable because it is very difficult to remove or very difficult to break this bond. Why it is very difficult to break this bond? Because the bond is very strong. It is between hydrogen and fluorine. Both are smaller in size. So bond is very strong. The bond between HI is one is from small and one is large. So moving downside the group, HX bond strength decreases. When HX bond strength decreases means the removal, breaking of this bond is very difficult. And breaking of this bond is very easy. When breaking of this bond is very difficult, means they are more stable, and breaking of this bond is easy, means they are least stable. So HF is more stable, HI is least stable, means stability decreases down the group. So HF is more stable, HI is less stable. Now, second thing, if you understand this stability, second thing, it is very easy. See, it is very difficult to remove H plus from this HF, but it is very easy to remove H plus from HI. So what do you mean by what is mean by a strong acid? Strong acids are one which will give easily H plus. So you tell me who can give easily H plus, HF or HI? HI will only give the H plus easily because the bond is weak, and H plus from HF it is difficult to remove because the bond is strong. So it is very difficult to remove H plus from HF, and it is very easy to remove H plus from HI. Easy removal of H plus, strong acid. So which is the strong acid? HI is the strong acid. Weak acid means what? Weak acid are one which is very difficult to remove H plus. So HF is the weak acid. So acid strength increases or decreases down the group? Acidic strength increases down the group because the bond becomes weak and removal of H plus become easy. So HF is the weakest acid, then HCl, then HBr, then HI. So this is the strength of an acid. So this is a series of strength of an acid. So this is the acidic strength, yes or no? See, which is the strong acid? The acid which can release H plus easily are the strong acid. Which is the weakest acid? The acid which cannot release H plus easily. Now see the HF. It is very difficult to remove H plus from HF. So very difficult to remove H plus means it will not give easily H plus. When it will not give easily H plus means it is a weak acid. See the HI, the bond is very weak, so bond can be broken easily. So it will be very easy to remove H plus from HI. So when it is very easy to remove H plus from HI, so this is the strongest acid. So this is the weakest acid. This is the strongest acid, means acidic strength increases down the group. Clear? So this is the acidic strength you can write down. Next we will go to the melting point, very important, and one question also will come from here. But before going, first you take a screenshot. Before going to the melting point and boiling point, we will discuss one thing. Clear? Done or not? Take a screenshot. Clear? Okay. So see here. See, the theory says the melting point and boiling point increases from, please see this, melting point and boiling point increases from HCl to HI. See, I am not considering HF. Why I will tell you? Means melting point slowly will increase from HCl to HBr to HI. Why? So why the melting point increases from HCl to HI? Due to molecular mass. Due to increasing molecular mass. But HF is having more value strong than this portion. So HF is having, sorry, increases, no? Increases. But HF is having, see, melting point and boiling point increases from HCl to H increases. So this will be less than HBr, this will be less than HI. Clear? Clear? Now what about HF? So one question comes, why HF melting point and boiling point are more than HCl and HBr? Clear? Not than HI, but why HF melting point and boiling point are more than HCl and HBr? See, what is the reason? What is the actual trend? The trend is, as moving downside the group, due to the increasing the molecular mass, the bond becomes strong. When bond becomes strong, requires more energy to break a bond. So melting point and boiling point increases down the group. But there is one exception. HF is having more melting point and boiling point than HCl and HBr. HF is having more boiling point and melting point than HF, and then HF is having more MP and BP than HCl, HBr. Why? Why? Tell me, think. See, moving downside the group, melting point and boiling point increases from HCl to HI. I am not considering HF. Then I ask you one question and I told you one reason. I give you first, I have gave you the one answer first, that HF is having more melting point and boiling point. Please open the textbook and check it out the value. The melting point and boiling point of HF is more than HCl and HBr. Means HF is not following this trend. Why? HF is not following this trend. Why? Think. Are you understanding my point? This question is very important. Melting point and boiling point of group number 17 halic acids, while going from HCl to HBr to HI, the melting point, boiling point sharply increases. The sharply increases. Why it increases sharply? The reason is simple. Moving downside the group, molecular mass increases, so their melting point and boiling point increases. Clear this part? Now the question comes. Exception is for HF. Hydrofluoric acid melting point and boiling point are more than HCl and HBr. It should be less, no? It should be less. The series should follow like this, no? It should be less. Who should be less? HF should be less. But HF melting point and boiling point are more than HCl and HBr. Why? Simple reason. Remember standard 11 FONH. FONH. Remembering hydrogen bonding. If there is an HF, or if there is an H2O, or if there is an ammonia, so there exists an hydrogen bonding between the compound like HF, H2O and NH3. So HF is one of the compound. So due to the presence of excessive hydrogen bonding between the HF molecule, so that hydrogen bonding HF molecule, due to presence of hydrogen bonding between the molecule of HF, the molecule come closer to each other. That's why melting point and boiling point are more strong than more than HCl and HBr. And whereas HCl and HBr, there is no presence of hydrogen bonding in the HCl, HBr or HI. So their melting point and boiling point are lower. Now you understand, sir, HI melting point, boiling point is also higher. See, HI, if you see the HI melting point is higher, boiling point is also low. So HI melting point may be higher. So maybe higher of HI melting point is higher than HF. Maybe the reason what? That HI is having more molecular mass. So slightly it is increasing. But you see the boiling point, it is also less. So the one question reason will come that melting point increases sharply down the group from HCl to HI due to increase in their molecular mass. But HF melting point and boiling point are higher than HCl and HBr. Why? What is the reason? Due to the reason is there is a presence of excessive hydrogen bonding between the molecule of HF. Due to this reason, the melting point and boiling point of HF are higher than HCl, HBr and HI. So write down this, that why HF melting point and boiling point are more than HCl, HBr, and boiling point you can write down HI. So due to excessive H bonding between HF molecules. That's it, enough reason. This is very important for your competition exam. This will ask you. So what is the main reason that melting point and boiling point of HF are more than HCl, HBr, HI, whereas while moving from HCl to HI, melting point, boiling point sharply increases. The reason of increasing sharply melting point and boiling point from HCl to HI is the increasing in molecular mass, and more melting point and boiling point of HF than HCl, HBr and HI is that HF undergo excessive hydrogen bonding between its molecule, whereas HCl, HBr, HI does not undergo the excessive hydrogen bonding. Remember phone H, standard 11, please remember phone H. Phone H means what? HF or H2O or ammonia. These are the compounds which will undergo the hydrogen bonding. In exam also question will ask, many a time question will come from 17, 15 and 17, 15, 16, 17 group. H2O, NH3 and HF. Remember this melting point and boiling point reason, simple reason. They will ask you why the melting point and boiling point of H2O or HF or NH3 are higher than other hydrides or other hydrogen reacting, other hydrides or halides. Only one reason, that there is an excessive presence of an hydrogen bonding between the molecules of ammonia or water or HF. They have a high melting and high boiling point as in of their own group. Clear? See in H2 also we have done. We were having H2O, H2S, H2AC, H2P. There also some hydrogen bonding point was coming due to melting point and boiling point. Similarly in NH3. So remember NH3, H2O and HF. If this type of question is coming, there will be only simple reason, and that simple reason is hydrogen bonding. Clear this part? You know to write down now? Okay, that's it. Clear? So why HF melting point and boiling point are higher than HCl, HBr, HI? Due to excessive hydrogen bonding in between the molecules of HF. Here certain boiling points are more of HI. So this can be reason of more molecular mass. You can check it out in your value in your textbook. If you have any doubt, please contact me. Clear? Okay. So next we will move towards the oxygen. Clear? Okay. Reaction with oxygen. So see, fluorine will react with oxygen form OF2 and O2F2. So any element is reacting with oxygen in the form of what? Oxides. Can fluorine form oxide? No, fluorine cannot form oxides. Why? For making the oxides, oxygen should be in minus charge. But you see here, oxygen cannot be in the minus charge because fluorine is most electronegative element of whole periodic table. Fluorine will attract the electron from oxygen also. So fluorine will react with oxygen forms OF2 and O2F2. These are not the oxides of fluorine. No. For making the oxide, oxygen should have a negative charge. But here oxygen is having the positive charge. Why? Because fluorine is the most electronegative element. So any element is reacting with oxygen forms oxide. So fluorine will react with oxygen to form fluorine oxides. No, fluorine can never form oxide. In short, these are not the oxide, these are the fluorides. Clear? These are not the oxide, these are fluorides. These are fluorides. Please remember. So fluorine can never form oxides. Fluorine will react with oxygen to form two compound OF2 and O2F2. These are not the oxide. These are actually fluorides only. We can say oxygen fluorine, oxygen fluoride, and dioxygen difluoride. Clear this part? So write down. Please write down. Fluorine forms two compound on reacting with oxygen. Fluorine forms two compound on reacting with oxygen, forms OF2 and O2F2. OF2 and O2F2. In fact, write down. In fact, these are not oxide. These are fluorides. In fact, these are not oxide. These are fluorides, because fluorine is more electronegative element. Because fluorine is more electronegative element than oxygen. And out of which, write down, out of which OF2 is only stable. Please remember this, MCQ very important. Out of which OF2 is only stable. OF2 is only stable. Remember one more point. Write down. O2F2 is used. Write down. O2F2 is used to convert plutonium to plutonium hexafluoride. O2F2 is used to convert plutonium to plutonium hexafluoride in nuclear reactor. Please remember this. This is very important. Okay. So what is the use of O2F2? This can be asked. That O2F2 is used to react with plutonium to produce plutonium hexafluoride in the nuclear reactor. So in sometimes what happens, in nuclear reactor we are using plutonium. This is a radioactive element. So this plutonium excess will, if we are using a plutonium as a fuel in the nuclear reactor, so sometimes all the plutonium will not be used as a fuel. Some particles of plutonium will be remain in the nuclear reactor itself. So I have to clean the nuclear reactor. Okay. So what I will do, I will put this O2F2. As I put this O2F2, this O2F2 will react with plutonium. So I will form a plutonium hexafluoride. This can be easily removed, and oxygen is a gas which will be easily removed from as a air. Clear? So you can say it is used in the nuclear reactor or nuclear spent reactor. That you can remember. But this compound used they will not ask, but this will they will ask. So what will happen when O2F2 will react with plutonium? So when O2F2 will react with plutonium and forms plutonium hexafluoride, which is to be cleaned in the nuclear reactor. Clear? Or separating in the nuclear reactor. Clear? And now next, chlorine will react with oxygen. Chlorine will react with oxygen and forms Cl2O, ClO, Cl2O6 and Cl2O7. Write down. So these are the oxides of chlorine. These are the oxide because oxygen is more negative than chlorine. Yes, we can say this oxide. So chlorine will react with oxygen. Chlorine will react with oxygen and form four type of oxide: Cl2O, ClO, Cl2O6 and Cl2O7. Calculate the oxidation number. So see here 2Cl plus O. So I can calculate here. So 2Cl plus O equal to 0. It is an oxide. So minus 2 equal to 0. Cl equal to 1. So here Cl oxidation number is 1. Here Cl oxidation number is 2. So here Cl2O6 means 2Cl minus 12 equal to 0. Cl equal to plus 6. Here Cl is plus 6. And Cl2, that is 2Cl minus 14 equal to 0. And Cl equal to plus 7. So here Cl is plus 7. Now see chlorine oxidation number is 17. 17 means what? 287. 7 means if it lost all the 7 electron, so now what the tendency will be, to gain or to lose? So if chlorine is compound, if lost all the electrons, so they will have a strong tendency to gain the electron, means they will do the reduction, means they will act as a oxidizing agent. So see here in Cl2O7. So in Cl2O7, Cl oxidation number is plus 7, means Cl has lost all the electron in Cl2O7. Now what is the tendency of Cl2O7? So when Cl2O7 Cl has lost all the electron, so Cl of Cl2O7 will have a tendency strongly to gain the electron. Means Cl2O7 have a strongly to do the reduction, means they will act as a oxidizing agent. So Cl2O7 is a strong oxidizing agent. Cl2O7 is the strong oxidizing agent. Write down. Cl2O7 is a strong oxidizing agent. These are also strong. These are also all are oxidizing agent because they will all gain the electron due to its electronegative nature. See, no one will give extra electron. These are also oxidizing agent, but Cl2O7 is a strong oxidizing agent. Clear? Write down. Which are all oxidizing agent, whereas Cl2O7 is a strong oxidizing agent, which all oxides are strong oxidizing agent. All oxides are oxidizing agent. All oxides are oxidizing agent, sorry, in which Cl2O7 is the strongest oxidizing agent, in which Cl2O7 is the strongest oxidizing agent. Write down ClO2. ClO2, yes, ClO will not come out, sorry, it will form ClO2, so it will form here +4, sorry, please make a mistake, sorry for mistake, write down here. ClO2 is used in bleaching fabrics and paper pulp. ClO2 is used in a bleaching the paper pulp, fabric and sterilizing of water. Clear? Write down. Next, bromine. So write down next. Bromine form three type of oxide. Write down. Bromine form three type of oxide: Br2O, BrO2, and BrO3. Write down. Br2O, BrO2, and BrO3. BrO3. Write down BrO3. These all are oxidizing agent, and they are stable at this point is very important. Write down. These are stable at low temperature. Okay. Write down for iodine. Write down. So iodine form three type of oxide: I2O4, I2O5, and I2O7. Please remember this, and these are also some key point I will tell about iodine. So iodine form three type of oxide: I2O4, I2O5, and I2O7. Clear? They all are solids. Strong oxidizing agent. They all are solids, strong oxidizing agent, and get decomposed on heating. This only the oxides which will get decomposed on heating. This oxide will not get decomposed. These are only the oxide which get decomposed. They will all explode. Chlorine can also explode easily. Bromine can also explode easily. Iodine cannot explode easily at room temperature. Clear? They should require heating. So they are more stable. These are least stable. So stability series will be iodine, chlorine, and bromine. Sorry, iodine, bromine, and chlorine. Clear? See, if you want to burn this, require large amount of heat. If you want to explode or burn this, it does not require large amount of heat. On less amount of heat also they can explode. Who? Especially chlorine. So chlorine is least stable, then bromine, then iodine. If you want to burn or if you want to explode iodine, require the heating. The oxides of fluorine and bromine does not require heating. So this is the stability of oxides. Okay, stability of oxide. Stability of oxide means they require more heating to explode. Means they are stable, and chlorine does not require heating for explosion. Low temperature also it can explode. Means chlorine is the least stable, iodine is the most stable. So this is the stability series. Clear? And they all are oxidizing agent, out of which Cl2O7 is the strongest oxidizing agent. Why? +7. Clear? Okay. Clear this part? Clear? Next item, reaction with metal, last. Clear? Reaction with metal. This is also very simple. This simple topics I will do this. Reaction with metal. And you know all, okay. So all the halogen will react with metal. Suppose metal is M, and this is an X. So all the halogen will react with metal. So M can form M plus, or they form M plus 2, or they can form M plus 3, and X will form only X minus, no? So either MX type of metal halide, or MX2 type of metal halide, or MX3 type of metal halide. Right now, all the halogen will react with metal to form metal halide. all the halogen will react with metal to form metal halide of Mx or Mx2 type or Mx3 type, of Mx or Mx2 type or Mx3 type. Clear? Clear? You can take one example, sodium react with chlorine, this everything you know now, Na plus Cl minus, so NaCl. If I take example of calcium, CaCl2, if I take example of aluminum, AlCl3. Clear this part? Okay. So next you write down anomalous behavior of fluorine, most important topic of the day. Anomalous behavior of fluorine. I will give one by one point, you will understand. Anomalous behavior of fluorine. Ready? Write down first point. Remember, many points we have done. So fluorine is the most electronegative and smallest size of its whole periodic table. Fluorine is first, we will see in the group wise, no, because we are also going to see in its group wise. So fluorine is the most electronegative element and smallest in size in its own group of other element. Write down. First point you write down, fluorine is the most electronegative element and smallest in size than other elements of its own group. Clear? Clear? Next point, remember, fluorine can show only -1 oxidation state, whereas other can show positive oxidation state also. Write down. So fluorine can show only -1 oxidation state, whereas other element shows positive oxidation state also in their compound. Clear? Now next, the value of atomic radii, ionic radii, the value of atomic radii, ionic radii, melting point, boiling point, electron gain enthalpy are higher. Don't write down electron gain enthalpy. You write down, cut electron gain enthalpy. Just write down melting point, boiling point, and atomic radii and ionic radii are lowest. Yes or no? So they have a low atomic radii. You cancel this point. Cancel this point. Write down. Fluorine is having the lowest atomic radii and ionic radii in its own group. In its own group. Clear? Now next point, the melting point and boiling point of fluorine, remembering, no? Melting point and boiling point of hydrofluoric acid is much more than HCl, HBr and HI. The melting point and boiling point of HF is much more than HCl, HBr and HI. Next we have fluorine forms only one stable oxides. This point you to remember, okay. So in further class you will understand. Fluorine forms only one stable oxyacids, while other halogen forms number of oxyacids. Clear? Because of presence, next point now, because of presence of strong hydrogen bonding, HF is a liquid. This point I forgot to tell you, please see first. We know HF, HCl, HBr and HI. See, the state is this is in liquid, but this all are in a gas, and this is also gas, okay. So why HF is in a liquid? Due to presence of excessive hydrogen bonding. I told you no. For any most of the reason, if a question is coming on HF, NH3 or H2O, if you don't understand any answer in the given MCQ and if you see option of hydrogen bonding, tick that. Clear? So write down, HF is only in acids. What I given? Write down, because of presence of strong hydrogen bond, write down, because of the presence of strong hydrogen bond, hydrogen fluoride is liquid in state. Hydrogen fluoride is a liquid in state, whereas other hydrogen halides are in gaseous state, are in gaseous state. Next, write down. Most of the reaction of fluorine, next you write down anomalous behavior. Most of the reaction of fluorine, most of the reaction of fluorine are exothermic because it forms very strong bond with other element, because it forms very strong bond with other element, whereas other member cannot do it, whereas other member of its own group cannot do it. Write down next. It is the most strong oxidizing agent in its own group. It is the most strong oxidizing agent. It is the most strong oxidizing agent in its own group. It is the most strong oxidizing agent in its own group. Clear? The dissociation enthalpy in F2 is very low as compared to other halogen. The dissociation enthalpy of F2 is exceptionally very low as compared to other halogen. And last property, last anomalous behavior, there is a absence of vacant d orbital. There is a absence of vacant d orbital. There is a absence of vacant d orbital, whereas other elements of its own group, there is a presence of vacant d orbital. So in fluorine there is an absence of vacant d orbital, hence they cannot expand, and when they cannot expand they cannot show positive oxidation state. I told you, no? Whereas other element there is a presence of vacant d orbital, means they can expand, expansion occurs and they can show the positive oxidation state. This we have seen. But whereas fluorine cannot does not have any kind of a vacant d orbital, means they cannot expand, so positive oxidation states are not possible. Clear? So these are the certain anomalous behavior of fluorine. I hope you understood. If you have any doubt, see, I may commit a mistake, I am also a human being, okay? I may commit a mistake. If you have any doubt, please you can ask me, you can give in the query section, you can ask me in WhatsApp, you know this, and everyone have my number, so that is not an issue. See, again you read the textbook, I am going beyond the textbook, I am giving certain extra points so that you can have a detailed explanation. You can read your competition exam book and you can ask me any type of a question. Within 4 or 5 lectures, I will complete the 17 group and then 18 group, and after this I will start alcohol, phenol, ether. Clear? So I hope you are understanding. Utilize this time, write and read it. Please don't simply read, write and read, it will help you. Understand this series which I have given, remember this whole series, it is very important, it will ask in the exam, it will come in the exam. Clear? Thank you.